Okay, here you go. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and good evening. This is the Uncommon Sense Show. I'm your host, Kennard the DJ. And today we got Ebony, we got Johnny, and we got Michelle. We also got a very interesting topic. Today we're going to discuss mental health in the Black community. It's a topic, I have a few opinions about it, but I don't think I really have too much factual information, but I do have a few opinions. But first, I want to get started with Ebony on this one and hear what Eb got to say. Eb, what's your take on mental health in the Black community
It's
today?
it's it's ignored too much. It's ignored too much. It's just overlooked because it's like we feel. I mean, we don't acknowledge people actually having problems mentally.
Okay.
It's they just crazy or they just this or that. Anything, unless it's just like the fact that some people are like schizophrenic and they really are crazy, then it's a problem. But people don't want to address the depression, the anxiety, you know, things like that.
Hmm.
That is a mental health issue. They only want to address it when people out here slashing people with machetes, talking to themselves and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's overlooked until it's too late sometimes.
I can agree with
Or
that.
people think they can pray. They think they can pray it away too.
Yeah, you do get that a lot too. But now here's my standpoint, and we're gonna get to Johnny and Michelle in a second. But my standpoint is, at least when I was younger, a lot of the so-called diagnosis that exists today didn't exist back then. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's very interesting because now, like, they have a category, for basic shit. Like when I was a kid, if it was a kid that was like hyperactive or some shit, he was just a hyper kid. Now they have a category for it. See what I'm saying? So
Right.
is that an actual mental illness, or is it a thing where like they could be misdiagnosing the kid to keep them doped up and sedated, or
I
sort of
think it's both. I think
okay.
it's both. And the reason I say it's both is because I mean there are chemical imbalances that causes disorders in people. That I
Okay.
mean that's science. You can't argue with that.
Right.
But knowing that, I think the educational systems take advantage of that because they actually give more money if your child is considered ADHD and is on medication. My son was a victim of that.
Mm.
Um, I'm not gonna lie, my son was bad as hell. I mean, I'm talking about I used to think he was autistic because the way it's like his his methods of doing things and things had to be a certain way.
Hmm.
I mean, he would flip out if things like went against schedule or went against his routine and things like that, which is a sign of on the spectrum of autism. So I was really concerned. He actually punched the gym teacher in the balls and ran out of school.
Damn.
After that, yeah, after that, they told me he can't come back to the school until he's on medication.
That's crazy.
I mean, I had to take him to, I had to take him to psychiatrists and everything. And of course, they diagnosed him. And, it's like, okay, well, this sounds like, if I knew then what I knew now, I probably wouldn't have taken that route. But I did take my son off of the medication
So you think the medication was helping?
for a while because I think it really kind of like numbs them.
Okay.
It numbs them so they can sit there and absorb all the stuff that the teacher says without really having, I mean, basically just sitting there being little sponges absorbing instead of having their own independent thought.
Hmm.
Because as much as I do know that there are disorders, I do have a belief that Black kids just learn different. It's not a disorder. And that's one of the things that we got to stop putting on a lot of mental health issues is the word disorder, because who wants to be out of the ordinary? You know, that's a
Right.
disorder. Something's wrong. It's a stigma. So, you know, we learn different. And it's, instead of actually addressing or trying to teach a way around how we learn, you say that's wrong and it's a disorder.
Yeah, because the other side would be, it's like, like if you don't, it's kind of a catch-22, at least on the outside looking in to me. Because if you don't, okay, like basically, they're gonna teach one way for all the kids in there. You know what I mean? So if you don't learn from what they're teaching, basically you saying they're gonna say something's wrong with you,
Okay.
or
I'm sorry. Let me do it. Ask you a question, or let me put it out here.
okay.
One problem is can we agree that children learn different now in these days and ages than probably we were learning and our grandparents or whatever?
I mean, yeah,
Because
I
we're
guess,
being
yeah.
exposed to we're I mean, it's just we're learning, we're evolving, but they're still trying to teach an old system to a new brain. That's why so many disorders, because not every child is gonna conform. They mentally can't do it. It's not a disorder. It's called, to me, I think, and I've heard this term and I like to use it, it's called divergent thinking. And honestly, I think teaching should be different. I'm not an educator, you know what I'm saying? But my thing is knowing me and knowing how I think and everything. I'm not saying everybody thinks like me, but you have to understand you don't think how I do. So why, or I don't think like how Michelle thinks.
Mm.
So why are you teaching us the same way when we're going to learn things different? There has to be allowances for that in education.
Okay. I'm not gonna respond to this one. Let me go ahead. I want to hear what Johnny got to say on this one. As far as
Can you swing it over to Michelle right quick? I gotta take care of something.
okay, that's fine, bro. Michelle, what's your response to what Ebony was just talking about?
Okay, hi.
Hello.
Give me like legit, like 1 second. I gotta grab my charger. Hold on.
Okay. Well, I mean, we could.
Well,
I,
actually,
I
I'm talking. I got my AirPod. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear
yeah.
you. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just not on camera. So I want to say, and I'm very happy we're talking about this today. And I'm talking from, okay. Let me just slow down. First of all, I want to take it back to what you said. You said that there are all these diagnoses now, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they didn't have back when we were coming up, right?
Yeah.
The thing about it is, these diagnoses aren't new. Us taking
Right.
ourselves and our children to the doctor is.
Right.
Us seeking attention or seeking help for what we see is new. The
Okay.
diagnoses aren't new. Back in the days, if you was bad, your mama, your grandma just try to beat it out of you, like you said, take you to church, try to have a pastor pray over you, things like that. We did not seek medical attention for the issues that were going on. So that's the part that's new.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with what Ebony is saying as far as the education. And let's just take it back for the people who did not see the previous show. I consider myself to be a mental wellness advocate. I have a non-for-profit, Black People for Mental Wellness, okay? Mental wellness is so important because of my own struggles with mental health. For you guys that went to high school with me, I don't know if you three particularly remember, I was called crazy a lot.
No.
Everybody would call me crazy, the crazy girl. You know what I'm saying? I've ran into people after high school and they've literally said to me, "Hey girl, you still crazy?" I took counseling in high school. I used to have to get pulled out of class to go to PATH. I think like every Wednesday or whatever, to speak to a counselor,
Hmm.
to deal with my issues. I would cry all the time. I was highly emotional, which I still have those problems right now, right? So what I think in the Black community, what we need to understand when we talk about mental health, we need to concentrate on the health part and not the mental part. We need to really understand that our brain is an organ just like our heart, just like our liver, just like everything else. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm talking on a perspective from a person that does take medication daily. I take sertraline daily, and that is to help me with my depression and with my anxiety. There was a period of years that I stopped my medication because of what my friend and my boyfriend at the time, it was the whole, oh, Black people don't take medication. And because of that, I stopped my medication. Getting back on my medication was totally my decision because I saw that my quality of life was horrible. So when we talk about medication in children, when we talking about medication in adults, when we talking about people who take medication, period, and we have not experienced that, it is a completely different experience because I can tell you, I notice a difference in myself when I don't take my medication. You guys just heard my interaction with my son. I didn't even know you were listening, but it would have went to like when I'm not on my medication, I'm highly irritable. Everything irritates me. I'm depressed to the point that I can't even function. Like I can't even like get up and take a shower and go to work properly. I can't even take my son to the playground. When I'm not on my medication, I see a difference in myself, and it's almost like torture.
Mm.
Honestly, it's almost like torture to me. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I'm a ticking time bomb. I go off, I'm just angry, and what we have to go back to, like Ebony said, it is a chemical imbalance that occurs. And I've had this issue my entire life. And it has affected me in different ways in different stages of my life.
Mm.
I went with the whole route of, the Black community with seeking church. You know what I'm saying? I got heavily involved in church, going to church all the time, praying all the time, reading the Bible, and that's okay to do, but that has to be partnered with a solid treatment plan. And for me, my motto is, or my way of thinking is, respect everyone's personal treatment plan. Because while I do swear by my medication, another person may not, and I respect that. But when you have a person to say, they want to say, I take this medication, or they want to say, I may need this medication, or they might want to say, I may need therapy, or I may need to talk to a psychiatrist, but we make it where we are so afraid to speak out in the Black community. If this person is telling you this is what they think that they need, at least support them with trying it. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. And you know what? I'm not saying that medication isn't for everybody. Well, I was speaking as far as the kids and the educational thing.
Oh yeah.
You are absolutely right. I mean, I'm a transparent person. I have anxiety. I have anxiety attacks. It's like I'm almost to the point where I'm almost social. I'm not gonna say I have social anxiety because I'll go out, but when I go out, all I can think about is going back in.
Mm.
And
I'm gonna
I started
share.
having. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna share with you guys a video. I want everybody to look this video up in YouTube. She does it in a
Get.
comedic way. It's like a comedy. But go to YouTube and look up. I think it's Me Versus Anxiety, and it's freaking hilarious. Like but it's
Yeah.
true. She's saying, okay, like one part she might say, oh, get your wallet out because we're. And I'm like, well, I haven't even got out the car yet. She said, well, do you want to be the freak holding up the line digging for change? And then she's like, oh yeah, you're right. That people anxiety comes in the form of
Yeah, you think like that.
so
You
many
do.
different ways.
It's like you think about everything that could possibly go wrong, and it's
Yes.
real. And I'm
Yes.
telling you, I have panic attacks, and it's like, and it's like it would be about something that to somebody else, it would be nothing. But to me, that moment is the worst thing in the world.
And don't let it be something like your boss may say, "Hey, Michelle, when you're done with lunch, come have a chat with me." You're not going to
Oh
be able
my
to eat your
goodness.
lunch.
Mm.
You're going to be
No.
worried. Or if you go on a date and you thought the date went well, right? And you go home and that person hasn't called you and it's been an hour, or at least text you and say, "Hey, it was a nice day." You're like, "Oh my God, did I breathe wrong? Did I look wrong? Did I eat wrong? Did I chew?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
But you know,
anxiety is
Overthink.
crazy.
It's the overthinking thing. You overthink to the point of it really stressing you out.
I don't
And
think.
also,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go
I'm a
ahead.
Virgo, so no, I was just gonna say I'm a Virgo and we overthink anyway. So most Virgos have anxiety.
I mean, I think that's a. I was gonna say this, and I want to hear from John. I think me personally, and it's not discrediting anything that y'all say, but just my personal opinion. I think overthinking is just a part of being responsible. I think that's just a part of adulthood. I overthink all the time. I mean, I sit up there and think about, what could go wrong, like every step of the way with stuff I do every single day. That's just me. It's who I am. Always been. Well,
Watch
I wasn't always
the
like that.
video that I told you. And
I'm gonna check
if you
it
don't
out.
have anxiety, you don't overthink the way this lady thinks. Okay?
I mean, I may not take that. I think it's a perception thing. I may not overthink to that lady's extent. I don't know her, but I'm just saying, as far as just overthinking in general, that's just something that you do. You want everything to go right, but I have to. I got to
And
the point.
you're right, but the thing is you can snap out of it. When with anxiety, there's no snapping out of it. It's like you just you go down a wormhole, so to speak.
It
It
can
is
come in
all
the form of I check the stove and the door before I go to bed. And I do it like a couple of times. Like, I just did it, but I can't remember if I did it, but let me check it again. Or when I leave my car, as soon as I get out my car, I hit the remote to lock it, right? By the time I walk into the door, did I hit the remote to lock it? Oh my God, somebody might go into my car. Oh, this, oh, this. So let me go back and lock it again. Or it's extreme. It's a big
and that's
difference
what it is.
between
It's an
anxiety and
extreme.
overthinking.
Right.
Johnny,
Yeah, it's extremely extreme.
Yes, sir.
Johnny, what you think about all this, bro? What's your take on mental health in Black community?
Okay, Black people, mental health. Okay, so I'm going to be somewhat sober when I give this one, which I really hate to do, but I really do like to talk about this now, especially since it happened to me. So if you don't know, I got PTSD, which is the reason that I was retired from the military early.
Mhm.
So yeah, yippee-ki-yo. And what Michelle was talking about earlier, as far as like you not being yourself, you being completely different than the person who you know yourself to be, like not wanting to get up and shower,
Yeah.
bathe, brush your teeth, go out and see the literally, you don't want to see the fucking sun. Like you go to blackout curtains, like, God damn it, this is me, this darkness. I'm like, so as far as us growing up, I'll speak for myself. Growing up, in a church and all that shit, just Black community. Yeah, the Black community, we didn't, and we do not now. Well, I guess we have made very, very minuscule improvements as far as moving toward accepting that the mind is actually a part of the body that needs to be tended to as far as health is concerned. So like Michelle Ebony was saying, back in the day, they tell you go to church. Depression, I remember very clearly back when I was young, them saying depression ain't something that church people get. So they would say saints don't get depression. Saints don't get depressed. That's the devil. Everything's a spirit. This depression spirit, this anxiety spirit, this fucking schizophrenic spirit. So they idea is to pray it away, which is obviously messed up, but it's also equally fucked up because it's being reinforced with by the way, this is a spirit, but you're fucked up because you're the problem too. So that's a whole nother situation. But that's the aspect of the whole church that's just messed up. And then that leads into, well, I guess that also goes to the whole thing about the whole money, why it affects Black people different, is because if you don't have money to get your your shoulder relocated, you definitely don't have to go money to go get something mental, because there's no tangible thing to see if you have a mental illness. Like, so we're really good at determining the extremes. Someone who's happy-go-lucky, great. Someone who is, what Ebony said, you got a machete and you chopping people up. Okay, those are two vast extremes. But life is in a gray area like a motherfucker. So you don't have to be that far. You could, like case in point, you can be autistic, be on the spectrum, and hold a job and have kids, married, all the rest of the stuff, but you still have
Wait.
issues.
Isn't Elon Musk on the spectrum too? I'm sorry, I just had to.
Oh, I
thought
don't know.
they said that. Yeah,
I'm not
but
sure.
go ahead. But you,
But yeah,
proving your
you
point,
could be somebody who's successful like that, and and you still be on the spectrum, and it's like I think what happened. I definitely remember being younger, and even still today, like hearing people saying that any manner of therapy or whatever means you crazy, right? Crazy is really a catch-all for all things, everything like the schizophrenic and depression, and everything falls under crazy, which that doesn't make sense, right? You got a whole DSM for it. The DSM is I forgot what the letter stand for, but the manuals where they give you all the whatever y'all ladies.
DSM-5.
Right. So that tells you, if I'm not mistaken, that gives you all the listings of what the aberrations are mental of health or something to that effect.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, it helps you diagnose because, it's like so many of them can be intertwined, and you can be one can be present without the other, and it goes deep. And that book pretty much is like a psychology or psychiatry Bible because it's pretty much going to help you determine who, what, when, where, and how to help.
Yeah. So to be perfectly honest, I tell my children this now. The reason why their father got into the predicament that he is in now and take medicate. Matter of fact, Michelle was just talking about sertraline. Here's my sertraline right here. I don't know what my doggone bottle for lithium is. It's around here somewhere. And I was on a whole bunch of other stuff. Luckily, I'm down to those two right now. But it's all because I didn't have a healthy grasp of understanding what mental health was. A healthy mental health. I thought healthy mental health meant, dude, don't be no bitch. You especially
Right.
Kanara, hey man, first of all, we grew up on the West Side, so there's the whole aspect of don't be no bitch.
Right.
Like there's that part. Then there's the second part of, hey dog, you in the army now. If you don't man the fuck up, dude, we don't do sick call. We don't do you better be your ass at PT in the morning, dog. We don't fall out, we don't fall out of runs.
Right.
Hell no.
You know what I'm saying? If something is going on, you there to take care of business, you make it happen. Dude, this is what you do. You see somebody die, you see whatever the case. Nigga, this is what you signed up for. This ain't the Boy Scouts. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go and do that little pussy shit, you probably should have joined the Navy or the Air Force or some shit like that. So with that in my mindset for fucking since 17 years old, now it comes now when I really do need mental health, not even knowing it, I didn't even know I needed help. I'm just thinking, okay, don't be no bitch, press this down, stuff it all down, be a man the fuck up. Mm-hmm. Until unfortunately what I learned unfortunately what I learned years later is that what happened is the PTSD was the PTSD was essentially, oh, your brain was like, oh no, motherfucker, we're gonna deal with this. Now we could push this off for years and years and years, but goddamn it, today just so happened to be February of 2016, when my brain was like, no, motherfucker, we dealing with this today. And we gonna continue to deal with this until I fucking say we're done. And that motherfucker ain't decided that it's done yet. So that's pretty much how that worked out.
Okay.
So that's
while we talking about medication, I want to say this because I don't want to go too far. I want to say this while we're talking about medication. I want it to be known, like, okay, so like with me, I was on the medication and I stopped, right? So it's not like the doctors put me on this medication. I was able to see a difference in my life between when I was on the medication and when I was not on the medication. Before I took the medication, I was under my doctor's care for like 2 years. I was actively taking therapy. I was in therapy like every other week. And for like 2 years, it's like everything that I had been trying without the medication just did not make me feel like I would say like normal, like I could live a normal life. You know what I'm saying? Like I can get up, I can go to work, I can be productive, I can take care of my child. Okay. So what I want to say is most people know when their quality of life is not good. Most people, they're not going to label it and say depression. They're not going to label it and say anxiety. They know when their quality of life is not good. If you are one of those people who know your quality of life is not the way that it could be, one of the best gifts that you can give yourself is to look into the problem and start a treatment plan that works for you.
Right.
That's one of the best gifts that you can give yourself. It is like coming out of a dark hole and it's springtime. It's like a freaking groundhog coming. I'm serious. And it's like springtime. It'll be to the point where I just have such a different appreciate, like how Johnny said, you don't want to see the light, right? And medication is not a magic pill. It's not anything like that. It kind of just takes the edge off where you are functioning on a better level, in my opinion. I'm not saying everybody got to go take medication. I'm saying find the treatment plan that works for you. If you when you go to the doctor, when I go to the doctor, they give me this questionnaire and they'll ask me, and Ebony, you seen it, I know. They'll say, how many days did you lose your appetite, or did you overeat, or do you don't feel like yourself? And my ass, before I got back on medication, every time I go to the doctor, it was like all the time, because I'm also diabetic. So by me being diabetic, I have to have frequent doctor's visits. And this was what my answer was. All the time I don't feel like myself. All the time I feel angry. All the time I'm crying. Every time I go to the doctor. And nobody's going to tell me not to take my diabetes medicine. Nobody's going to tell me to go pray it away. Michelle, just go pray your diabetes away and eat all the cookies you want to. No, they're going to tell me, take your medication, exercise, eat right. So we got to look at those things also when it comes to mental health. And like I said, it doesn't have to be medication. Exercise doesn't. Find the treatment plan that works for you. Talk to your doctor.
Michelle, can I get okay? I just wanted to be sure that you said, when you said the treatment plan that works for you, I wanted to be sure that you were saying like go to somebody who's goddamn smarter than the fuck you are, and then go see what they got to say. Because motherfuckers
and smarter than your friends, and not your church. Do not
and not your church. Go to somebody who has school for this shit.
It's going to your pastor, go to a licensed professional that can help you, medical doctor.
Licensed professional.
Yeah.
Because here's one thing that was okay. So the do y'all hear like radio feedback in y'all headphones too?
Yeah. We're gonna fix that on the next one.
Okay, I thought it was me. All right. So here was one thing that I wasn't aware of. Like, so hindsight is 2020 like a motherfucker. So talk to the therapist and all the rest of the stuff. You go walk through. Okay, so when did you first start? Blah blah blah. Okay, cool. So it turns out like, dude, I ain't been in. Well, that's not important. So I've been in situations and all the rest of that stuff. Okay, cool. That was as early as 2003 and okay and 4 and then long and then blah 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 throughout my career. But what I noticed is that I spent 2 years in Iraq, 2 consecutive years, from 04 to 06. So around 2000, I don't know, 8, 7, whatever. Every now and again, I would have nightmares, but we talking like 2, maybe 3 a month. So I'm thinking in my mind, well, that's just normal behavior. I mean, it was something that happened to me. It's something that I experienced, right? If I went to Kittyland for fucking 2 years, I imagine I would have some doggone nightmares or at least some dreams about the goddamn cart that went around the place or something funnel cake or some shit. I don't fucking know. So the problem was I wasn't intelligent enough, or not maybe intelligent is the word. I wasn't adept or abreast in that particular area of study to know, oh no, dog, this is a sign of something else. You know what I'm saying? To you, to the layman, to me, the layman, it looks like something innocuous. But to somebody who's trained, they would have picked up on this shit years ago and be like, oh no, come talk to us right quick. You know what I'm saying? So we got to do way better and stop this whole. I hate to say this.
Now wait.
It's good to say I did my own. It's good to say I did my own research, and it's good to say if you understand how to research, it can be good. But the average motherfucker don't know how to goddamn research or study or let alone think. So no, take your ass to the fucking doctor. I agree with that damn dog. Yes. Everything that dog said.
We had less than a minute, y'all. So you know it's gonna cut out. I'm gonna take us in a link. It's a very good conversation, very informative, very educational, especially for people like myself who don't really have any knowledge of mental healthness altogether. But we're gonna pick it up. I know it's gonna cut out, so I don't know if anybody got any little couple of words or whatever before we cut out and go back to part 2. It's a little quiet.
Michelle, what's your website?
Oh, I'm here.